Imagine a disease so deadly that it wipes out nearly half of Europe's population within just a few years. A time when fear and death hang thick in the air, as entire villages are left deserted and the once bustling streets of cities fall eerily silent. This is the story of the Black Death, a plague that reshaped the course of history and left a lasting scar on the world. The Black Death, also known as the bubonic plague, began its deadly march in the early 1340s. Originating in the arid plains of Central Asia, the disease traveled along the Silk Road, carried by fleas that infested black rats. These rats made their way onto merchant ships, which then spread the plague to ports across the Mediterranean and eventually all of Europe. By 1347, the first cases were reported in Sicily, and from there, the plague spread like wildfire. As the disease moved inland, it devastated cities and towns, spreading terror in its wake. The Black Death didn't discriminate. Rich and poor alike were struck down. Symptoms included fever, chills, vomiting, diarrhea, and the formation of painful buboes or swollen lymph nodes, which turned black, hence the name Black Death. Victims often died within days, and the rapid spread of the disease overwhelmed medical knowledge and institutions of the time. The Black Death wasn't just a medical catastrophe, it also had profound social and economic effects. With so many dead, labor became scarce, leading to the decline of the feudal system as workers demanded higher wages and better conditions. The massive loss of life also caused a shift in the church's influence, as people questioned how such a disaster could occur if they were under divine protection. Art and literature of the time reflected this morbid fascination with death, with macabre themes becoming prevalent. Responses to the Black Death varied greatly across Europe. Some cities attempted to quarantine themselves, closing their gates to the outside world, while others resorted to flagellation, with people whipping themselves in penance, believing the plague was a punishment from God. In some areas, the plague led to widespread persecution, particularly against Jewish communities, who were falsely blamed for poisoning wells and spreading the disease. The aftermath of the Black Death had far-reaching consequences. The dramatic reduction in population led to a scarcity of labor, which in turn shifted the economic balance. This period saw the beginning of the end of the feudal system. Serfs gained more power, and peasants could demand better pay. The psychological impact of the plague also lingered for generations, with a heightened awareness of death and the fragility of life permeating European culture. Although medical science was primitive at the time of the Black Death, pandemics spurred significant advancements in public health. The concept of quarantine, for example, was born out of the need to control the spread of the disease. Over time, Europe developed more sophisticated methods of disease prevention and treatment, although it would be centuries before the true cause of the plague, Yersinia pestis bacteria, was discovered. The Black Death has left an indelible mark on European history and culture. From literature to art, the imagery of death became a prominent theme, as seen in works like The Dance of Death or Danse Macabre. These depictions reflected the constant presence of death in people's lives during the plague years. Even today, the Black Death remains a powerful symbol of the fragility of life and the devastation that disease can bring. The Black Death was one of the darkest chapters in human history, a time when fear and uncertainty reigned supreme. Yet from this darkness came profound change, a transformation in social structures, a new understanding of public health, and a cultural shift that would resonate for centuries. As we look back at the Black Death, we're reminded of humanity's resilience in the face of unimaginable horrors. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of history's most devastating plagues. Be sure to subscribe for more stories that shaped our world.